It's coffee time, and it's back! Play intro. I don't have an intro, probably will not add intros just because I don't have the time or resources, nor do I want to learn how to make a Flash intro. Coffee time is back, guys. I don't know if you guys have been a part of my channel long enough, but a long time ago, this was years ago, I think 3, 4, 5, maybe even 5 years ago. I don't think it was 5. Was it 5? I still lived at home. I think it was 5. Yeah, I still lived at home. I started a segment called Coffee Time, and essentially it was supposed to be a monthly segment where I make one video every single month of an entire year, and I talk about things that are happening in my life. Why? I don't know. So people can maybe connect with me and know more beyond the YouTube persona or entertainment personality of Mr. Repzion. You know, they can get to know a little bit more of Daniel, the person behind Mr. Repzion. You know, and for warning, this probably isn't the best way to start coffee time, but I'm really baked at the moment. I had 2 full of my brownies, edible brownies, and they're really, really powerful and really, really potent. So if I'm flying all over and talking about one thing over another, that's because I'm really relaxed and I'm sick. Well, partially sick. I have a really sore throat at the moment that I'm making this video, which is why I'm cheating the very first episode of this year to next November with a cup of tea instead of coffee because my throat is killing me and it hurts to talk. So I made a video the other day, and it's so funny because I was reading the comments, and people always talk about how I'm so white. Daniel, you're so white. And yes, it's true. I am a fairly white person. It's not from a deficiency. It's not from a lack of vitamins or anything like that. I'm a very, very healthy person. It just happens to be that I'm very, very Finnish. And I happen to live in Washington State, which is like the state that really doesn't even get very little sun compared. It's like one of the top states next to Alaska that doesn't get as much sun as other places around the U.S. and even into Canada. And Washington just doesn't get a lot of sun because of where it's located, right? And I'm Finnish. I'm Finnish, has really, really, really white skin. And I'm in Washington. That's why I look relatively white. It's not because I'm unhealthy. I'm very, 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 very healthy. You remember those commercials? No, not yet. It was commercial. They had commercials on TV, and then they had the Got Milk, and Got Milk would have a bunch of celebrity faces with like milk across their face. Do you remember that? I remember that. And they always said like, drink milk, it grows strong bones. But I thought there was recent data that came out in the last like decade that did completely disprove that you don't need to, drinking milk doesn't actually improve or make your bones stronger. Or maybe it does, I don't know. I thought there was something that came out about that, that's false. I don't know. I don't even know why I just mentioned Got Milk. I don't even... Anyways, more about me. So what has happened in the month, well, it's November already, but what has happened in the month of October? October was a month I've been really depressed. I'm always depressed the last three months of the year. Is always one of the worst times for me. Primarily because I've had a lot of horrible things all happen all around like the last 3 months of the year. Through my accumulation of 25 years, I have a lot of vivid memories around this time and a lot of just traumatic stuff that's happened in my life and that I've gotten through. Always happen around here, and you know, things pop into my memories, pop into negative experiences, and memories pop up into my head, which thus makes always the last 3 months very difficult. And there's hardly any light or sun around the last 3 months in Washington. So naturally, you know, people are depressed if there's no sunlight. Month of October, my dad has shown little sign. For those of you who don't know, my dad is fighting cancer. He had a surgery, almost 4 months ago now? Is it 4 months ago or 3 months ago? I don't remember. But he was in the hospital for almost over 50 days from recovering of pancreatic cancer. And he had a thing called Whipple surgery. The Whipple surgery has fucked over his digestive intestines to where like he can't. Basically, my dad weighs 160. He weighed like 220, 230, and he went down to 160. That's how much weight my dad lost, which is a lot of weight. Because he hasn't been. He couldn't eat. Like his stomach wouldn't. Part of the Whipple surgery is it screws up your stomach, and it can take months for people's stomach to wake up from the process of removing part of the cancer that was in his pancreas, because that's where the cancer was prone, was his pancreas, and it hadn't spread, thankfully, any more than it was just contained. Benign is it benign, where like it's just in one area? I don't remember. Is that what benign means? I don't remember. Again, I shouldn't even be filming this baked, but you know what? I don't know. I don't do the marijuanas that often. I just don't. I have nothing against it. I just don't. But almost I do it about once a week. And with that once a week, I usually do it after Sunday, which is over my weekend, which is 3 9-hour shifts at school and work at the same time. I'm doing school and work at the same time. Right now, yesterday we were, well, I wasn't, because I'm not that far advanced to do that yet, but they were working on a trailer of aluminum and steel trailer that they were all welding with TIG. That was pretty cool. I want to learn TIG. Right now in school, I'm doing MIG, and the weekend of October, the weekend of October, I spent the weekend, 3 9-hour days, doing test plates. And for those of you who don't know what a test plate is, for Washington State, you have to take a certification test in welding. And once you take the certification test, and if you pass the certification test, and you can't have a single mistake, but if you pass the test, you're then certified. Welding, the career, is a trade field, and thus it relies on certifications. I can go through 2 years of college with an associate's degree in welding, 2-year degree, but that won't guarantee me a job. What guarantees me a job is getting my certifications, and you have to get certified for MIG welding, TIG welding, dual shield, flux core, stick. I'm probably missing another type of welding, but those are all different types of certifications. Pipe, I want to get my pipe cert one. I don't know if I can get my pipe cert, though. That's really hard to do. But I've been testing on test plates, because they can implement it in the school just as I will do it for the actual certification when I go for the certification test. And that's what I've been doing. And yesterday I got my first. I did 5 test plates, and the test plates, I passed 3 of the 5, which to me, my teacher said that's really good, that I was able to do three test plates with the root pass, second pass, and then cover pass. I'm using welding jargon. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about. A first pass. So basically, I have these 2 slabs of metal that I cut, right? And I cut it at 22.5, an angle of 22.5. 22.5 on one side, 22.5 on the other, which equals 45 degree. You combine the 2, I don't remember the name. It's like the 2 metal plates that have like a V like that, right? You put a back plate on it, tack it, and then you have to do in 3 passes for MIG welding test. You have to fill up the extra space in the V. So that's like just filling this up, right? And you have to fill it up to where when they take the test plate after you fill it up, they're going to bend it, and then if it cracks if it cracks at all, you fail your test. It has to be super flat and flush to the metal that you're welding. I think it's a 1/8 of an inch, like it can't, so you have your flat surface, and then it's only allowed to have a 1/8 inch height, and if it's past that, and that's super, super, super low, right? And if it goes past that, you fail. If you don't weld it properly with your root pass, second pass, and cover pass, if you don't do it right, you'll fail every time. But it's not good enough for me that I pass 3 out of 5. I need to pass 5 out of 5. I want to do 5 test plates, and boom, 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 they're perfect and flawless. That's when I'll go take my actual Washington test, because if I fail the test that I take, I'm out like $300. It's expensive. So, but my teacher said that I'm doing really good in my welding stuff, because I'm past where I should be technically. Like, I've advanced further ahead than what people normally are on in the trade field of welding. So that's cool. But my dad, I don't even remember. So my dad, going back to my dad, I'm sorry, finally had his first meal the other day. It's his first official meal because his stomach is finally starting to wake up. So that's when I mentioned progress in October, that's what I meant, is that my dad has finally slightly been able to eat. He had spaghetti, he wanted spaghetti and meatballs, and he ate very little because his intestines have really, really shrunk up, because he was eating, he had a feeding tube and was like eating, he had to be fed through a feeding tube for almost 3.5 months. That's a long time, which is why he lost so much weight and was in a bad health state. But he's home now. He still has a bunch of tubes. He has like a keg and a tube into his stomach that he walks around with this little bag. Kind of disturbing looking, but he has to have that until I think the keg is like, I don't understand what they're doing. They got to pull out the keg eventually, and then because he has a big hole in his stomach. For those of you who don't know, on the month of October, I uploaded my first ASMR video on my ASMR channel. You might recognize what this thing is right here. It's a 3DO. I started doing ASMR. I'm going to link it down below in the description. Press like show more at the bottom of this video under the comment section thingy, and you'll get a bunch of links. And those links, you can find my ASMR channel that I'm doing. And I have almost 2,000 subscribers. If you like ASMR, give it a give it a subscription, because I'm doing it because I want to help people sleep. I want to relax people, and I want to comfort people. And as weird as ASMR can be, I get it. Trust me, I do. I think it's really can be very beneficial to people with anxiety and stuff like that. And if I can help people, which apparently it already has, then that's awesome. And I like helping people. I really do. A lot. It's really cool to be able to help people. And if ASMR helps me like fall asleep, so if I can help other people do it, that's what I want to do. So if you like ASMR, go check out my channel, ASMR Repzion, ASMR Repzion, but with no double R, just one R. What else happened in October? Oh, well, technically it was November 1st. I'm going to be meeting with a, what are they called? My bank, because I want to see, I'm getting prepared to get a loan out, to get pre-approved for a loan for a house. Because I don't make much money right now, but I have money saved where I could make a small down payment on a small house, right? And my mortgage would technically be lower than what I'm paying for rent. So why not just I want to live in Washington State probably my whole life. So why not just buy a small little house and have a mortgage that I just work for 30 years, you know? I think that'd be a good idea. I really want my own place, because I calculated, I calculated the last 4 years of all my rent, and it's like almost $40,000 in the past 4 years of all these places that I've lived, and I've paid like $1,500 a month. And you add that all up after 4 years, that's a good chunk of money, you know? And that's money that I could have had being put towards a small house or something that I physically own. And the other reason I wanna get approved for my loan is because, well, I know I will, because I have amazing credit. Like, I have astounding credit. I don't have a problem with the loan. It's just I have to go do the meeting and go through all the, you know, like, because I'm a first homeowner. There's a bunch of classes and stuff, information you gotta take to know what you're doing and getting yourself into. But the main reason I also want a home, I want a home, my own house, and it's because, well, you probably just heard it right there. My two little doggos, Mara and Haley. And Haley's 13 years old right now, and I don't want her last year to be in this apartment complex, because she's a border collie lab, and she likes to be able to run. They're dogs that need to be able to run around. And Haley, she's being old, but I just want her to experience the grass and have her own backyard instead of being cooped up in a little apartment where she can't really run around. Both my dogs can't run around that much in my apartment, which really sucks, because they're dogs that follow you everywhere and want to be outside and want to be next to you when you're taking care of your chickens and goats, even though I don't have any chickens and goats. But that's my dogs. Like, they're my children, and I want them to have land. I want them to have a backyard. So, I don't know. My lease to this apartment ends in March, I think. Like, end of February, end of March. I don't even know if it's even possible for me to find a house that's in my affordability range, right? Because I'm going to probably buy a mobile home. I want to buy a mobile home with like an acre. A lot of the places around here with that, south of, it would be in Graham, Washington, Ording, Washington, Sumner, Washington, Bonnie Lake. I don't know if you guys probably don't know where that is in Washington State, but that's where I want to move to, because it's around there. Some of the houses are below 250,000, and I don't know how much I'll be. I know I'll be approved for probably over 150,000. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what I'll know probably in like a week and a half. My pre-approved loan status on how much I can get a loan out for. So I think, yeah, a house. My dad finally had his first meal. My welding's going well. I've gotten 4.0s and everything. And my ASMR channel. Those are all the things. My first ASMR video. Those are all the things that has happened this month of October, although it is November. Oh man, you know what I realized? It's really hard. It's being this relaxed. It's so hard for me to I haven't been looking at the camera that often, and I haven't been looking at the camera because I haven't been really looking at the camera because, like, I don't know. This gets me so relaxed, but I'm constantly just like looking around. I can't. It's really hard for me to focus on one specific thing. I think that's all, guys. My next video will be uploaded next month, for the month of November, for the next coffee time. Until next time, I will see you in the next few weeks.